Good afternoon. I am Andrea Chisholm with the Midday News. A special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. St. Elizabeth recorded its second murder for the year after another domestic dispute turned deadly in Southfield this morning. Police are not commenting on the matter, but TVJ News understands that the accused, who lives in the United States, is reportedly on the run. TVJ's Krista Campbell has details.
While many lovers were busy executing their Valentine's Day plans on Thursday, it appears one man was making cold-hearted plans of his own. The execution would come the day after, about 6:45 Friday morning in Southfield, St. Elizabeth. Residents say 49-year-old Maureen Williams Topping was surprised by her estranged husband as she was about to begin her daily routine of transporting children to school in Santa Cruz. The husband, now reportedly on the run after shooting his wife.
They hear so then split up. Because he come here from America, come here and come out. And she call her on the phone and she don't come out of the house and come to him. So I don't know what is what after.
Residents say they heard gunshots coming from the minibus Mrs. Williams Topping used to transport students. One of those students was inside at the time. The people believe Mr. Topping had been hiding inside the bus. A resident who did not want to be identified explained his theory.
When he found out, like, he must say something to him or what have you, he give him the first shot, like he come over him from behind and give him the first shot on his side. And he find out, say, he not dead, and give him the head one and get rid of him.
He says he helped rush the injured woman to the Black River Hospital.
When time I go down, I said to them, say, she dead. And all that blood where she have, where you get she head shot run up back power and she went show to me in her van. So now we got a Black River and take her out now. And the wait that the people don't come and put her up on the stretcher and carrying. Everybody has said, like she not dead, but so, she dead.
Police are not speaking about the matter, but TVJ News has confirmed that the accused is not yet in their custody. Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
In St. Mary, residents of the Mason Hall community are upset following the discovery of the burnt remains of a 67-year-old man they described as nice and peaceful.
Them feel it bad. If I know say in drive out a morning time, you know, trouble people and just quiet.
Firefighters say they got a call about a house fire at 8:21 this morning.
Upon arrival, there was no actual fire scene. However, the team conducted an inspection of the premises, and it was during this inspection of the premises that they discovered the charred remains of, later to be confirmed as Mr. Errol Henry, owner of the property.
It's not yet clear how the fire started. 3 men have been arrested and charged in relation to the seizure of a gun and ammunition on Old Melrose Road in Mandeville, Manchester. 2 of the men have been identified as 29-year-old Ovid Mackenzie of Evans Street, Clarendon, and 25-year-old David Dwyer of Lincoln Avenue. The third person's identity is being withheld pending further investigations. Mr. Mackenzie is being charged with dangerous driving, while Mr. Dwyer is being charged with assaulting a police officer and resisting arrest. It's understood that shortly after 12:30 a.m., lawmen signaled the driver of a motor car to stop. Mr. Mackenzie tried to elude the police, but the vehicle was later intercepted. A Taurus 9mm pistol with 13 rounds of ammunition was allegedly thrown from the vehicle. Meanwhile, investigators are reportedly close to making a breakthrough in Sunday's robbery at the supermarket in front of the Junction Police Station in St. Elizabeth. Administrative Officer at the St. Elizabeth Police Division, Superintendent Leroy Minot, says strong leads are being followed. About 5 men armed with guns, including an M16 rifle, barged into the Liliwang supermarket on Sunday night and robbed the owner of an undetermined sum of money. The men involved in the robbery are reportedly from Clarendon and are linked to a gang operating in the central part of the parish. The gang has been linked to several robberies in Clarendon and Manchester. A medical officer at the Cornwall Regional Hospital in St. James is asking for help to address the issue of patients living at the facility. Clinical coordinator Dr. Delroy Frey says about 41 people are living at the hospital and it's hampering its ability to care for other patients.
Families, if you have patients at the hospital that are abandoned, please come and collect your patients because they have been treated and we are in need of those beds.
Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton assures that the government is working to address the issue which costs millions of dollars.
On the street, people come to me because they know I'm affiliated with the Cornwall region and say, Dr. Frey, what about the overcrowding in the E&E department? And I must admit, there is some amount of overcrowding. But if we were able to, occupy these 41 beds, it would decrease it much, much less than what it is today.
He was commenting on data in the 2017 Mental Illness and Homelessness Report, which was released last November.
While recognizing that it is linked to a number of situations, but ultimately leading from abandonment, mental illness, and as a consequence, a dependence on the state, unfortunately too often on the hospital system, which takes away. Depending on the project, the Spanish Town case, we contributed, I think, 4 or 5 million. The local government contributed.
Meanwhile, Director of the Western Regional Health Authority, Errol Green, says there will be further dislocation at the Cornwall Regional Hospital when construction begins on the new Children's Hospital. $235 million has been budgeted for the project this fiscal year. At Thursday's monthly meeting of the St. James Municipal Corporation, Mr. Green said construction will begin in April.
We are moving full steam ahead to get that construction going. There's no doubt in my mind that there will be challenges because a lot of mobilization has to be done and a lot of logistics have to be put in place because even while that work is going on, we still have to carry out the services at Cornwall Regional Hospital.
Mr. Green says steps are being taken to ensure there are no construction breaches. The probe has intensified into this week's incident at the Port Antonio Hospital in Portland, in which a nurse was attacked by a relative of a patient. The Nurses Association of Jamaica NAJ has requested a report. Nurses at the hospital protested yesterday, saying they are not safe. The incident is now the focus of an investigation by the hospital's management. The NAJ is also planning to visit the Port Antonio Hospital.
So our member has called us to express their disgust and their fear, and so we have asked them to send us the report. We'll be seeking to see how soon we get to go down there to see what is happening, because too often it happens in the public sector where persons come in and because they don't have their own way, you're not saying what they want to hear and you're not doing what they want to do in the time period that they think you should do it, and you're not doing what you ought not to do for them, then they become very boisterous. And so it has now become even more scary because persons are now getting physical with our staff.
The government will soon begin a program to transition PATH families from welfare to work. Governor General Sir Patrick Allen made the announcement during the throne speech yesterday. PATH beneficiaries are also poised for further benefits later this year.
Last September, PATH commenced the payment of a back-to-school grant with approximately 560 million Jamaican dollars disbursed through this initiative. Not just the initiative, but through this new initiative, with 160,000 students receiving grants of $3,500 each. This will be an annual benefit paid to school children on PATH in the month of August. The government will be fully implementing the automated electronic payments to some 128,000 PATH beneficiary families.
In news overseas, U.S. President Donald Trump has defied fierce criticism, announcing he is using emergency powers to bypass Congress and build a wall on the U.S.-Mexico border. Speaking in the White House Rose Garden, the U.S. president insisted he had no choice to deal with what he describes as an illegal immigration crisis.
A national emergency. And it's been signed many times before. It's been signed by other presidents. From 1977 or so, it gave the presidents the power. There's rarely been a problem. They sign it, nobody cares. I guess they weren't very exciting, but nobody cares. They sign it for far less important things in some cases, in many cases. We're talking about an invasion of our country with drugs, with human traffickers, with all types of criminals and gangs.
Meanwhile, the bill to avert a second government shutdown cleared both chambers of Congress and is on its way to President Trump's desk. We have details from the CNN.
With the shutdown standoff ending,
the conference report is adopted.
Another fight set to begin. Congress clearing a massive spending bill Thursday night that includes a bipartisan compromise on funding for border security. But in the president signing off and avoiding a second government shutdown,
he will also be issuing a national emergency declaration at the same time.
The legislation passed by Congress includes $1.375 billion for border barriers, well shy of President Trump's $5.7 billion ask for a southern border wall. So a White House official says the president is expected to add to that, using executive actions to put together about $8 billion in funding. That will include $3.5 billion from the Defense Department's military construction budget, which requires that national emergency declaration, which Democrats are poised to challenge.
First of all, it's not an emergency, what's happening at the border. It's a humanitarian challenge to us. The president has tried to sell a bill of goods.
The idea making some Republicans uneasy, too.
I'm disappointed that the president has chosen to go this route.
The concern that we've got is that we not set new precedent.
Republicans concerned about the precedent the move could set for future Democratic presidents in bypassing Congress.
Right, and in sports, local sports governing bodies are urging school administrators to be more proactive in dealing with student athletes being abused by their coaches. We have more in this report.
The sex offenders register is a closed one but is available for use by prescribed persons under the Child Care and Protection Act. On Wednesday, the children's advocate Diane Gordon Harrison urged the principals who are on the list of prescribed persons to make use of the register.
The register permits interested parties who can establish a very good basis for getting information out of the registry to receive that information. So one of the things I've advocated for example, is that if you're a prospective employer of a teacher, of a coach, of somebody who is volunteering with a youth group or with a music band or something, is if Karen Madden comes and says, I'm applying for this particular job, then it is incumbent upon you, if you're being responsible and doing your due diligence, to establish a case.
President of the Intersecondary School Sports Association, Dr. Walton Small, agrees.
You have to be careful, too, that if the person is not convicted, as a principal, you can't deny the person, the hiring the person on the ground that the person has done something or abused a child. Unless you check the registry where the person is convicted and is placed on the registry, then you can say, no, I'm not employing.
And with concern mounting, Small is insisting that the governing body for school sports takes a zero-tolerance approach to coaches abusing their charges.
At ISA, we literally go with the position taken by the government in that this is a situation that cannot be tolerated. So if we are aware that any coach at all is involved in abuse of a child, we are not going to be supporting any of those coaches working with our students.
And that's the Midday News. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Join us at 7 for the Primetime News Package. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, good afternoon.